This is one of the last videos ever recorded of a missing woman, and people still can't explain what she was reacting to. Watch closely. In 2013, inside the Cecil Hotel, a security camera captured something that would later confuse millions. At first glance, it looks normal, but it isn't. The person in the video is Elisa Lamb, a 21-year-old student traveling alone, sharing her journey online, until she suddenly disappeared. No warning, no explanation. Days went by with no contact, no calls, no messages, and then this footage was released, recorded just before she vanished. She steps into the elevator, calm at first, presses a few buttons, waits, but the doors don't close. And that's when things start to feel wrong. She begins pressing more buttons, one after another, almost all of them, as if she's trying to make the elevator move, or trying to stop something from reaching her. Then she suddenly steps forward and leans out into the hallway, looking left, then right. Not casually, but like she's checking if something is there. But there's nothing visible. No one walking past, no movement, just an empty hallway. And yet, she reacts like she's not alone. She steps back inside, and the behavior becomes even more unusual. Her movements don't look natural anymore, almost like she's responding to something we can't see. Because whatever she was reacting to was never captured on camera. At first, it's easy to assume she's just confused, maybe stressed, maybe lost. But the longer you watch, the harder that explanation becomes, because this doesn't look like normal behavior anymore. She suddenly moves again, but this time it's different, faster, less controlled, like she's reacting to something in real time. She steps out once more, but instead of just looking, she hides, pressing herself against the side of the elevator wall, just out of sight from the hallway, as if she doesn't want to be seen. Then she leans out again, but not fully, just enough to look, carefully, slowly, like she's tracking something, moving outside the frame. And this is where people start to notice something else. Her movements. They don't feel random. They feel responsive. Almost like she's following something with her eyes, something we can't see, something just outside the camera's view. She steps fully out now, and for a moment, she disappears from the camera completely. What happens next is one of the most debated parts of this entire case, because when she returns, something feels different. Her movements become harder to explain. Her hands move in ways that don't seem natural, almost like she's communicating with something. And whatever is happening here, it's not visible on camera, but she reacts like it's right in front of her. Up to this point, everything is already unsettling, but there's one detail most people miss on the first watch: the elevator itself, because during all of this, it never moves. Not once. She presses multiple buttons, over and over again, different floors, different combinations, but nothing responds. No sound, no movement, just silence. And here's where it becomes difficult to ignore. Because elevators don't just do that. They're designed to close, to respond, to move. But this one doesn't. Almost like something is interfering with it. Some people later suggested it could have been a door hold feature, a safety mechanism. But even that doesn't fully explain what we're seeing. Because her behavior doesn't match that explanation. She isn't waiting calmly. She's reacting, watching, avoiding something that isn't visible. And then there's the timing. The doors remain open the entire time she's inside, but the moment she finally steps out, something changes. Seconds after she disappears from view, the elevator finally responds. The doors close, and it begins to move. As if whatever was keeping it open was no longer there. And that raises a question. Was it just a malfunction? Or was something else inside that elevator with her the entire time? Because after this moment, she is never seen alive again. After the elevator footage was released, the search for Elisa Lam intensified. Police combed through the hotel, hallways, rooms, rooftop access. But there was no sign of her. It was as if she had simply disappeared. Days turned into weeks, and with no answers, the case began to grow colder, until something unexpected happened. Guests at the hotel started to complain. They reported strange issues with the water, low pressure, discoloration, and a taste. That didn't seem right. At first, it didn't seem connected, but it was. Maintenance workers were sent to investigate, up to the roof, where the hotel's water tanks were located. Large, sealed containers, rarely accessed. One of the tanks was opened, and what they found inside explained everything. Inside, they discovered her. The same person from the elevator footage, hidden in a place no one had thought to check. Until that moment. The discovery raised more questions than answers, because reaching that location, was not simple. The roof had restricted access, locked doors, security measures, and no clear path explaining how she got there alone. And then there was the tank itself. Heavy lid, difficult to open, almost impossible to close from the inside. Which led many people to one question. If she didn't get in there alone, then who or what was with her? Because even after this discovery, the official explanation didn't convince everyone. After the discovery, authorities moved quickly to explain what happened to Elisa Lam, and on paper, their conclusion seemed straightforward. According to investigators, there was no evidence of another person involved, no signs of forced entry, no physical struggle, nothing to suggest anyone else was there. The final ruling was that her death was accidental, a tragic series of events, with no outside interference. But for many people watching this case unfold, that explanation didn't feel complete. Because when you go back to the footage and watch it closely, there are details that are difficult to ignore. small things that don't quite fit. For example, the timing of the video itself. Some viewers noticed that parts of the footage appear slightly altered, slowed down, or missing frames entirely. Then there's her behavior. Investigators suggested it could be explained by disorientation or a mental health episode. But even that explanation doesn't answer everything, because her reactions feel specific, directed, as if she's responding to something that isn't visible in the frame. And then there's the question of access, the rooftop, the water tank, the physical effort it would take to reach that location alone. Individually, each detail might have an explanation, but together, they leave something behind, a gap, a feeling that something is missing. And that's why, even today, people still go back to that footage, watching it again and again, trying to see what might have been there all along. Even after everything that was discovered, the footage remains, unchanged, unanswered, a short clip that continues to raise questions no one has fully resolved. Because no matter how many times you watch it, there's always something that feels off. A movement you didn't notice before. A pause that seems too long. A reaction that doesn't match what we can see. Some believe the explanation is simple, that everything we're seeing can be understood with the right context, that there's no mystery here, just a tragic event, interpreted in different ways. But others aren't so sure, because when you look at the details, the timing, the behavior, it feels like something doesn't fully add up. And that's what makes this case different. It doesn't give you a clear answer. It doesn't tell you what to believe. It leaves you with a choice to accept what's been explained or question what might be missing. Because sometimes the most unsettling part of a story isn't what we see, it's what we don't. The moments just outside the frame, the things that never get recorded. And in this case, whatever she reacted to, whatever made her move the way she did, was never captured on camera, at least not in a way we can see. Which means one possibility remains, that something was there, present in that moment, just beyond what the camera could capture. Or that we're simply seeing something we don't fully understand, interpreting it through fear, through uncertainty, through the unknown. So the question isn't just what happened that night, it's this. What do you think she was reacting to?